All right, ready to dive deep into the life of Napoleon Bonaparte.
Military genius, political maneuvering, ambition, the whole nine yards.
We've got it all today in our source.
Author name redacted's Napoleon, a biography.
It really digs deep, this one.
From Napoleon's Corsican childhood to exile on St. Helena, a classic for a reason.
So we're talking obscure Corsican turned emperor. How did that even happen?
Big questions, right?
Shaped by the French Revolution or something else entirely?
Yeah.
How did he climb that ladder of power so fast? And what's his story tell us about ambition and myth? Ready to unpack it.
Absolutely. Let's start with the early years. This book paints such a picture of his upbringing on Corsica. Fascinating stuff.
His family dynamics really come through, especially the relationship with his mother, Letizia. What a force.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine 8 children, Napoleon among them. Discipline, ambition, she instilled it all. That impact, it's lasting, clearly.
And even as his ambition grew, that Corsican identity, it never left him, did it?
It's true. There's this great anecdote from his time at military school, Brienne. Napoleon gets reprimanded by a senior officer, no less, for being too patriotic about Corsica.
Wait, seriously, too patriotic.
Sir, you are a king's cadet. You must remember this and moderate your love for Corsica, which is, after all, part of France.
Almost foreshadowing, wouldn't you say? That tension between personal identity, national loyalty, it plays out later.
Wow, okay. So, ambitious young Napoleon, strong Corsican identity, but he's also navigating this world of military patronage, right? All those connections.
And he's good at it, incredibly skillful. Like with Charles Bonaparte, the governor of Corsica, helps him get into Brienne.
Brienne, training ground for so many future leaders, revolutionaries. Talk about formative.
This is where Napoleon really immerses himself in Enlightenment thought, Rousseau especially.
Ah, Rousseau. So that's where the revolutionary spark comes from. But didn't that actually fuel his Corsican nationalism at first? It did. Imagine Corsica as this idealized society, Rousseau's ideas, free from the mainland's corruption, patriotism and revolution aligned for a while there.
Interesting. So his loyalties were a bit more nuanced in the beginning.
Very much so. And you see this throughout his early life, this shifting of allegiances, supporting the Corsican nationalist movement led by Pasquale Paoli. Then the French Revolution gains steam, opportunity knocks.
He sees a chance for advancement within the French military. Things get a bit complicated.
And that complexity, it spills into his personal life too, wouldn't you say? His relationships with women, for instance.
Oh, definitely. Tumultuous, to say the least. Take Josephine, the great love of his life, but also
drama, lots of it, their marriage, this whirlwind of passion, jealousy, infidelity. The book really digs into that.
it describes this deep, almost obsessive love Napoleon had for Josephine, but also the hurt from her affairs.
And Josephine wasn't the only one. Numerous affairs.
So there's a pattern emerging here. Brilliant military mind, master strategist, but also this complex, contradictory figure. It's almost like his personal life was strategic too, wouldn't you say?
Very astute observation. And remember, all of this against the backdrop of the French Revolution. Upended order, opportunities for ambitious young men.
And he rises through the ranks so quickly during those revolutionary wars.
It wasn't just luck, though. Talented, truly. Toulon, those Italian campaigns, they solidified his reputation. Brilliance, strategy, it was all there.
Toulon, that's where he first makes a name for himself, right? Artillery skills.
Junior officer, but this brilliant plan emerges to capture the port city, vital strategically, from the British and those royalist forces.
And it works.
Yeah.
Suddenly he's the hero of Toulon. Must have been a huge ego boost.
Oh, definitely. But he understood something else too, self-promotion. The power of propaganda, he cultivated that image. A man of destiny.
It's like he was writing his own legend in real time.
Exactly. Victories publicized, leverage gained. And it all culminates in the coup of 18 Brumaire.
The coup seizes power. First consul of France. What a power move.
Complex, audacious, overthrows the Directory, installs himself from artillery officer to the most powerful man in France.
Remarkable, truly. Brains, ambition, PR skills. Quite a combination.
It makes you wonder about the sacrifices, though, doesn't it?
That relentless pursuit of power, it must have come at a cost.
Absolute loyalty demanded, relationships strained, even family.
The book mentions those complex relationships with his siblings. Favoritism, for sure.
Joseph, for example. But pawns in his political games, that's what they were, like pieces on a giant chessboard.
Chilling thought. So he reaches the top, most powerful man in France, but even family gets caught in the crossfire. What happens next?
Well, that brings us to Napoleon the Emperor.
Emperor and the Empire? Crowns, conquests, even more drama.
You got it. Things are about to get really interesting.
So he's top dog now. What's next?
Well, he makes it official. Emperor of the French, the coronation, what a spectacle. Power, legitimacy, all on display.
And he takes the crown from the Pope himself, places it on his own head. Bold move.
Like saying, I answer to no one, not even the church.
Wow.
And that's just the beginning. He envisioned a vast European empire, France at the center, and military force. Oh, he wasn't afraid to use it.
So the Napoleonic Wars begin. Austria, Prussia, Russia, all those victories. He was unstoppable for a while there.
A military genius, no doubt. But it wasn't just conquest, there were reforms, too.
Like the Napoleonic Code, right?
Exactly. A lasting impact on French law. Even today, it's considered a cornerstone.
So reshaping Europe, reforming society, he was building a new world order.
And economically, too, with the continental system.
Oh, right. His attempt to cripple Great Britain, wasn't it?
Blocking their goods from continental markets, hoping to weaken them economically and militarily.
Seems risky, cutting off trade with the world's biggest economic power.
It backfired eventually. Widespread hardship fueled resentment against his rule.
So his own policies, they start to contribute to his downfall.
In a way, yes. Constant warfare, growing resistance, both within France and those conquered territories.
And the cracks begin to show.
Precisely. And nowhere more evident than that disastrous invasion of Russia.
Ah, yes, the Russian campaign. Overreaching ambition.
Grande Armée, over 600,000 strong into that vast expanse.
Confident of victory, but the Russian winter, that resolve.
He underestimated both. And the scorched earth policy, brutal.
They're burning everything, leaving nothing.
Starvation, disease, constant harassment, that retreat from Moscow, a horrific scene.
Devastating. That aura of invincibility, gone.
Completely. And as Napoleon weakens, his enemies see an opportunity.
But that's where things turn. The Peninsular War, draining resources for years.
And Wellington, right there in the thick of it.
His nemesis on the Iberian Peninsula.
Another brilliant commander, victories in Spain, Portugal, further eroding Napoleon's hold.
So it's a combination of things. Russia, the Peninsular War, new challengers like Wellington.
And it all leads to a powerful coalition. Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria.
Determined to bring him down, and they succeed.
Leipzig, that battle of nations, a crushing defeat. Retreats to France, pursued relentlessly.
And then Waterloo. The end of an era.
A last stand. British and Prussian forces, Wellington and Blücher, overwhelmed.
No coming back from that.
No, abdicates again, exiled to St. Helena. From emperor to prisoner on a desolate island.
It's almost Shakespearean, that fall from grace.
But even in exile, he tries to shape his legacy, doesn't he? Dictates his memoirs, the betrayed hero.
Controlling the narrative, even in defeat.
And it works, to a degree.
Yeah.
Still one of the most studied figures in history.
Part of that fascination is the contradictions, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant military mind, modernized France, but also those wars.
Millions dead, Europe in turmoil.
And his authoritarian tendencies, suppressing dissent, censoring the press.
Ruthless, power-hungry, there's no denying that.
So hero or villain?
It's never that simple, is it? Product of his time, revolution, upheaval, ambition, but brilliant and cruel.
The real Napoleon, somewhere in between.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
A flawed genius, a cautionary tale. It makes you wonder, can we separate the man from the myth?
That's the question, isn't it? The historical Bonaparte, the man who actually lived, versus the legend.
That's something to think about.
Centuries later, and still sparking debate, larger than life, that's Napoleon for you.
It really is. And we're still asking these questions. Hero, villain, somewhere in between. His story resonates. It really does.
It's about something deeper, isn't it? Ambition, power, legacy, those big themes.
Exactly. Human nature right there at the core.
And it makes you think about history itself, how it gets written, how much is objective truth, how much is shaped by the storyteller.
Biographies, paintings, even just casual conversations, they all have an influence.
That's why it's so important to be critical, to question the narratives we're given, look for those nuances, those contradictions.
Especially with someone like Napoleon. Myth and man, so intertwined.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away? What have we learned from Napoleon's story?
Don't be afraid to question. I think that's key, especially with monumental figures like Napoleon. Question those narratives.
Don't just accept the textbook version, right?
Dig deeper, look for the contradictions, the complexities. That's where the real understanding is.
The real fascination, too, I'd say.
Absolutely. Look for those personal anecdotes, the vulnerability, the contradictions, the things that make him human, flaws and all.
And maybe through understanding those complexities, We understand ourselves a bit better, too.
The forces that shape our world, they're still at play.
It's not just about the past, is it? It's about us, our relationship with ambition, with power, with the legacies we create.
Well said. And who knows, maybe this deep dive will inspire some exploration on your own. There's so much out there to discover.
Go forth and learn. Keep questioning those narratives. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the life and legacy of Napoleon Bonaparte.